Okay, there it's streaming.
Oh, that's a long minute, isn't it? I'm just watching the time on my PC here, so. All right, well, my PC says it is 7 o'clock. So, yeah, so with that, I said I'd like to call to order a regular meeting of the Brookfield Inland Wetlands Commission. Today is Monday, the 9th of November, 2020. My name is Sharon Fox. I act as the chair of the commission.
Sharon, I'm here incidentally. It's Dave Frankel.
Oh, hi, Dave. So we will add you.
Good.
All righty. So we're just getting started, Dave. So again, with me tonight is Dr. John Donovan, who is a regular member, Mr. Michael Newsat, who is a regular member, and on the phone and now in person, on video anyways, is Dave Frankel, so who is an alternate. So all four of us will be voting members this evening. Also with us is Alice Dew, who is the Wetlands Enforcement Officer for the town. So she's going to be doing double duty tonight. She's going to be doing the minutes as well for us. So, all righty. Well, again, I just want a big thank you to everyone last week. I was not able to make the meeting. So again, big thank you to everyone, and especially to Mr. Mulvaney, who is not with us tonight, but I know he acted as the commission chair, and just a big thank you to him. All right, well, I said, why don't we start with taking a look at the agenda. We've got wetlands enforcement.
No change in any of it. I did email with Ari, and he just got back. He was out of the country the last month, so he's going to catch me up on how things are going this next week, probably.
All right. Anybody, let me ask my fellow commissioners, anybody see anything in your drives around town that you might want to bring to Alice's attention?
Actually, I did. I noticed, and I don't know if there's a time limit for them, 401 Federal Road, the new medical building. A few months ago, we gave them permission to significantly cut down on the plantings they were going to do and do a more modified planting plan on the corner. To date, that I could see, nothing has been done. Is that something that should have been done already, or they can wait till spring? I'm not sure.
I don't.
Which one's I can't remember 401 Federal right now.
That's the new building right where 133 cuts off by the church.
Junction Road and
yeah. And they had a very elaborate planting plan when they were going to do 3 buildings. And they said they wanted it to look more like a farm rather than a...
right, Steiner's.
Okay. So rather than this elaborate planting plan for that whole corner plot, we approved a less intensive landscaping plan. But to date, nothing's been done.
No. I mean, I could call Greg, but the permit's good for 5 years.
Okay. So there's no time limit they have to do the
5 years.
5 years. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Next time I talk to Greg, I'll ask.
Yeah, I don't remember, any time frame that was necessary. I said I think that all goes with the permit, which I don't think it's 5 years from our modification. It's 5 years from the original, wherever that takes them. And then I don't remember where they are with extensions. But I don't remember anything also, sometimes I think we would have, or we should, consider, putting some timelines on things if there's either some remediation to wetlands or some advantage to the wetlands or the upland review. I don't recall any of that being a part of that chain.
If there are trees being planted to shade a wetlands.
Yeah, I think
that seems a little excessive.
Yeah, I think the only little wetland was that little pocket there on that.
Yeah, it wasn't a major item. I just happened to notice it.
Yeah, so but I don't remember. I'm with Alice. I don't remember any timeline set correctly or
Okay.
incorrectly. And I don't remember any sort of compelling reason. I don't remember one
All right.
to set a time, but thanks for bringing that up.
They're probably simply waiting till the spring.
All right. Anything else, David? Did you have something?
No, we're just on 401 Federal Road. They're probably just waiting till the spring. I'm speculating, but it's better to plant things probably in the spring than in the fall.
Some things, yes. Yep. I don't remember that. If there was,
No.
again, anything going one way or the other.
Yeah.
All right. Again, we don't have any active sites with inspection reports. Just making a note. All right. Well, let's go on then to old business. We've got 731 Federal Road, application number W-20-26. I see that came up in the conversation last meeting. I see that in the notes. Let me just offer my colleagues who were here or weren't here, anything you guys want to add to what you said, or anything that you didn't see in the minutes that you just wanted to get out again, and maybe for my benefit.
A deadly silence falls upon the commission.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know I took a look. I took a look at it. I'll just share, just share my thoughts. I think the change that, that Mark mentioned, with moving that project to the west, which sort of increased that buffer, on the Still River, I think is very important. Again, we all have to think about, the importance of repairing buffers, trying to keep, the Still River, keep as much of what what nature has put there, particularly in shade and plants. I think was a huge, was a nice improvement, I think, to the plan as it relates to wetlands. I remembered that going through that, there wasn't any particular habitat destruction, for anything that's going on with the change in the wetlands, how the water drains mostly from Federal Road into the Still River. So I was looking for that. I note that there was, most of the wetlands that are being disturbed and some that are being permanently reduced, again, are mostly, the result of, of drainage off of Federal Road, which, I don't know if it had the benefit of, current thinking in terms of, how to improve water quality that comes off a road into a, into the Still River. And I appreciated, I said, what Steve and the applicant worked together to put swales in place and some of those water bars. I think in this particular case, the quality of the water that's going into the Still River, I think, is going to be improved. I appreciated the wetlands creation on the south side. And again, I think Steve mentioned in his note of September 8th that, some of the new drainage areas that they have should turn into wetlands over time. So that is a bonus. The one I said, so and again, I think, Steve's letter from the 8th, I think is, as I went through it, I think is incorporated in those last, those last revisions on October 7th. But I wanted to ask Michael, John, or Dave, if any of you could sort of separately confirm that, or Alice, and what you saw in the plans from the 7th is Steve's letter from Steve. What you saw in the October 7th revisions picks up Steve's notes from September 8th.
Yeah, I've actually spoken to Steve several times, and he said that everything was the way he had hoped.
Okay. And again, I think I made note too, I said, I think an important part for me is the, the pre and post drainage calculations that were done. This seems like a pretty straightforward site. Sometimes it can get pretty tricky to do those things, or sometimes much of an art as there is a science. And I think they showed that there was reduced lot or site drainage in the current development than or post development than pre. So that's also something that's very important, I think, to be considered. And those were my thoughts. So I said, I think the only thing I wanted to talk a little bit about was maybe site inspection. As it relates to getting the, I said to getting some of those plantings in place, and maybe monitoring some of the, those drainage swales in place. I wanted to ask everyone what you might think of that, and Alice, of course.
Alice, if you're speaking, you're muted.
Yep, my mistake. I think
No.
that inspections would be a great idea to do there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I'm thinking, they could be, particularly I said, because they've got, there's a great deal of, like silt fence and such, that, not that work you can take a look at, but a lot of that silt fence has to change as they're putting those, disturbing those wetlands areas, those drainage areas. And I'm thinking something along the lines of, when we can find, I'm sure we can identify someone, whether it's Steve or someone with that, that kind of background to, like I said, to just do a report for us when those, are in place. Yeah. I'm sure that they'll be in place, well before, they finish with the building. What do you think about that, Alice?
Yeah, I think initially, and then usually what we've done in the past is after a rainstorm of 1 inch or more.
Right. Yeah, a post 1 inch rainstorm, which hopefully we'll get many. So that's the only thing that I think I would probably, I said, I think this, because it's so close, it's sitting right on the Still, I said it's sitting right on the Still River, so.
Yeah, and before, there's any CO issued, we ask for verification that all the plants have been planted where they're supposed to be.
Right. Yeah, I didn't see any reason for a landscape bond. I just couldn't think of any reason to, we would do that if there was like remediation required, but here I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
I mean, but I'm open to what others think about it.
I tend to concur with you, Sharon, on this.
I'm trying to remember just off the top of my head. This is what makes these things so much harder. I mean, how many plantings are in that, up in that sort of that detention basin creation area?
Michelle might know.
I wish, yeah, but we can't ask her, unfortunately.
Oh, right. Well, we can ask her just a question of clarification, can't we?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But I do remember, we could just, let's just take a quick look at it. Let's just take a quick look at like 10, where is it? They updated that on, let's just look at the
planting plan.
Planting plans. Yeah, the planting plans 10.7. Oh man, I wish I had a big screen.
It's very hard not being in the same room, looking at the same documents.
It sure is, Dave. I totally, let's see. So there's.
I see a utility plan and tree plan. Is that what you would want to look at?
Yeah, no, the one I grabbed is called, it's kind of down in the, where is it? I just was looking at it.
Is it in the
look up.
Email
I
we got
think
today,
no, just look in the agenda and it's the,
or the agenda rather.
linked it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's four down. Federal
Yeah.
Road Planting Plans
And there are
revised.
5 pages.
Sharon, do you
Yeah.
want me to share it so you could look at it on the plan on the screen?
I think I got it,
Okay,
but thank you, Michelle.
you're welcome.
Yeah, it's a big long plot. So I think you've got to go down to, is it page 4? I mean, I'm on page, I mean, I could share or Alice, you can do it. I'm on page 4 of that planting plan.
I just made Michelle co-host so she can bring hers up if she wants. There we go.
And I was looking to see, I mean, usually they're kind enough to put like a table, that shows the
Sharon, the table is on sheet 5.
5, yeah. But that's more than just that wetlands area. That's the whole
Correct.
Megillah, right?
Yeah, it's the whole
Yeah,
kit and caboodle.
yeah. If we did a quick count here, if I go back to page 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I see about round figures, about 30 plants there. Alice, anybody want to count with me?
Which area are we doing around the detention?
Yeah, up in the detention area, and what would be the southeast corner?
So Sharon, you see the bubbles that have the call outs?
Yeah.
The number on the top is the quantity, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's like, I see like 333, 1.
Yeah.
You just have to add those up.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of looking at the big things.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, I am seeing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm seeing, I don't know, maybe 50 things.
Yeah.
That sound about right? And they are a mix of trees and shrubs.
Mm-hmm.
So say 50 things at, I don't know, I said it's a mix of trees and shrubs, say $75 each. Somebody want to, feel free.
You mean the cost of everything?
Yeah, I'm saying because it's a mix of trees and shrubs there. So, and I'm
Yeah,
saying
so it's $75 times how many?
50.
3,750.
Yes, I'll ditto that. Yep, $37.50.
All right. So, I mean, I think up in that detention area, I said it might warrant, like I said, a planting bond there of, I don't know, $37.50.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
Because that's an important part, of this, like I said, an important part of this project. That's a part of the, sort of the.
Well, it's an impetus to get it done,
Yeah.
having the bond.
Yeah, well, I said and I think it's just really, it's a 75% survival rate in 2 years. I think, does that sound about right?
Yeah.
I couldn't give you an answer.
Yeah.
It would be Alice.
Well, yeah, it all depends, but probably 75 to 80.
75 to 80%.
Would other plantings come in their place? You know, the dead plants that go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think too, I said, I think maybe, and then there's a there's a maintenance plan for this as well, right?
Yes.
All right, and that maintenance plan is it's in one of the plans, as I recall.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I think it's reasonable. I said it would be something like 75% of the plans have to survive, what, three years? Does that sound unreasonable, Alice?
Yeah, we usually do 3 years, 3 to 4
Yeah.
years.
So 75% over 3 years, and they can provide us a report 3 years from now.
There
Okay.
is a maintenance plan on page 5.
Yeah, I knew it was in there someplace, but I think, I think it's worthy, Michael, like I said, to make note in a motion, that.
The motion of approval.
Yeah, as a part of the landscape, bond, they would be entitled to, to get it back 3 years now, as long as, or, 3 years from now, as long as 75% of the, the plants have survived.
That makes
Either
sense.
that or they'll replace them at that point if there are more.
Yeah, and they commonly would. Yeah, and I'm sure they will, because I said they're a nice feature, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the only thing I want to go back to, Alice, is just talking about the inspection report. I mean, so we've talked about an inspection report, an inspection after a 1-inch rainfall.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe after those, those drainage swales are installed. There's what, 3 of them?
Or 4.
Or 4? Well, whatever. But after those drainage swales are installed.
Yeah.
And then maybe when the detention area that we were just talking about on the southeast corner is complete.
Sharon, you're asking for the bond for the plants only involving the plants in the southeast corner around the retention basin.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
The rest of
Yes.
I'm thinking, but I mean, that's, I don't think that's one of the reasons I'm bringing it up, is so that we can, as a commission, take advantage of everybody's review of this.
Well, what you're suggesting isn't unreasonable.
Okay, so we've talked about, like I said, a bond for the plants on the southeast side. We did some rough arithmetic. I mean, if the applicant, I would be open, be very open if the applicant feels that number is unreasonable. We'd like to hear about it. I said we did a quick count, and $75 seems to be a reasonable amount. I think the 3 years is pretty standard, a 75% survival. Site inspections after 1-inch rainfalls, and site inspections of, I see 3 drainage areas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When they are completed.
Madam Chairman, Anthony Lucero for the record. The applicant has no objection to any of those requests as part of the condition of approval.
You guys gotta help us out again. We just can't have much new information. So
Michelle McCauley for the record, Artel Engineering. For the inspection, Sharon, typically what I've done on other projects is, like in Newtown, usually the town has the applicant do the inspections and provide reports to the town. Newtown, I do it every other week, rainfalls, but typically it's the applicant that does the inspections, just to give you an idea.
well, thank you. I said thank you for that. I said, since this is, like I said, right on the Still River, I said, well, I think we'd be better. I think the town will be better served, the commission better served to have a separate, an independent review. And I think it's just for the, when those 3 are completed, or after rainfalls, and when that detention is done. So
Now, what about the planting that dies within 3 years? Are they required to replace it?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Okay,
and-
so what happens with the new planting after the 3 years? We let it go?
Yep. Yep. The way we have done it, Dave, the whole thing just times out 3 years into it. We don't set it up for sort of,
Yeah, it could go on forever.
yeah, I don't think we've ever done that. I can't.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. No, I'm,
Reasonable.
you know, that's like perpetual bondage.
Right. That's what I'm saying, that we would set this for 3 years.
Mm-hmm. It sounds reasonable to me.
All right. So those were my ideas. Anybody did I spark any additional interest here or something else on someone's mind?
No, what you're saying seems reasonable. I'm still a novice at this, though, but what you're talking about sounds reasonable.
Okay. All righty. Someone want to make a motion, or you want me to try and make it, or Michael, or what do you think?
Why don't you make this one? And with these conditions,
Okay.
a little closer
All
to
right.
them.
All right. Well, listen, then I will, I'd like to make a motion to approve the application for 731 Federal Road. It's activity number W-20-26. Excuse me. Based on a plans set by Artel Engineering with an original date of June 15th, 2020, and a last revision date of October 7th, 2020, with all the normal stipulations, and with all the normal stipulations, and to include a planting bond in the amount of $3,750 for the plants on the southeast corner of the project related to the detention bond. The bond will be set for 3 years, and the criteria will be a 75% survival rate at the end of said 3 years. 3 years after planting, I should add, and that will be the start of the 3 years when they are planted. And then also to have the applicant support a third party review of the 3 detention areas when they are completed. Second, to when the detention area in that southeast corner is also completed, and would be third, a review after any rainstorm, at least any rainstorm of at least 1 inch. And again, making note that there could be something, some crazy storm that we could have that might require some additional inspections. So, and
Sort of hard to come up with a rainstorm that's precisely
yeah, well,
1
it's
inch.
commonly 1 inch, but I said we might ask for some, again, considering what Brookfield has gone through in the last 3 years with microbursts and other such things, or maybe some other reasons that we might need some help. I think that's it. So someone want to second that?
I'll second it.
All right, thank you, Michael. All right, did I get everything?
I think you did.
All right, any other discussion on the motion?
Nope.
All right, so let me call it. All those in favor of the motion to approve? Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed, any abstentions? All right, so the motion carries unanimous 4-0. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep,
All right,
thank you.
Okey-doke. All right, so now let's go on to, I've got proposed current maintenance plan for the grounds at Huckleberry School. Now, Alice, you were the, you carried the load on this one, right, to write it up?
Yes, and you asked for some changes, which I made.
Okay. So let's just take a look at this. Determine the light shading, she said, on the Carolina slimy salamander, say, listen to Harry Sedge. Current management include additional inventory. Current management of the area should include additional inventory work. I didn't know what that meant.
Where are you?
I'm looking at the letter, the draft letter that, again, that
Right.
Alice was kind enough to do and you guys were kind enough to comment on. I'm looking at that first bullet. It said
Oh, the
current
first bullet.
Yeah, current management of the area should include additional inventory work.
Inventory of any plants and or expansion of, the hairy fruited sedge population. That was just a suggestion from Chris Mangles.
Yeah, which is probably a good idea, but who would do that?
Good question. Probably him, but he don't have to be paid, of course. Maybe we take out that and just leave it as mowing should be confined to essential areas.
Yeah, do we know what those essential areas are?
They need to be marked out.
I think
Yes,
so.
they should be defined.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we can help them and give them a, maybe we can give them a copy of the plan. Maybe that's something, I don't know, maybe we could take a look at between now and Friday, maybe, and send, provide them with, help them out, because it's not easy to go through these plans looking for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that changes the occurrences of any other state listed species. Does that change the use of that sentence too? Maybe we could change that first paragraph around to say mowing should be confined to the areas where, the hairy fruited sedge should be avoided. Maybe we say it that way. Maybe mowing should be avoided in the areas where the hairy fruited sedge is known, has been identified.
Okay.
And then
We should have more.
It
It should be specific, I think.
Yeah, you want
on
it,
the
and like I
map.
said, yeah, and any of us can, like I said, I'll try and do it on Friday, Dave. If you want to swing by and take a look at, a map, and help Alice out, everybody will appreciate if anybody wants to do that, all help is appreciated. But I'll try and do it if we don't. I'll try and do it for Friday for sure. But I think that first bullet could be reworked and to say, look, we know where it is, and the mowing should be avoided in that area. I mean, I think we can be really definitive about that. It's not like we would like it to be avoided if at all possible. We would like it to be avoided, period, right?
Yes.
If
Well,
everybody feels that way, I do. It's a really nifty plant, and
Well, the first, the bullet point after the second bullet point, at a minimum for current land management, the following protection measures should be taken: delineating and field marking the hairy fruited sedge population boundary with highly visible and durable staking.
yeah. Yeah, and if they do that, then that can, and maybe the first bullet isn't necessary. Maybe it's just that second sub bullet, and mowing will be avoided, and mowing would be prohibited in this area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's
a lot easier. Okay.
That's what I saw when I looked at this very nice letter.
Okay, I'll make some changes and you can take a look at it on Friday.
Okay, sounds cool. Anybody else?
This is all, of course, predicated on them coming up with new wetlands.
Keep talking, Dave. I'm not sure I understand that.
Dave, I think you're a little confused. This is just for what the current.
Current, okay.
Yeah, maintenance would be.
All right, then I'm talking about two separate issues then.
Yeah.
All right, well, good. So we'll take a look at that. This is really a great discovery. I think this whole project, I think, has allowed, you know, the whole town, I think, to identify I said, a very important plant that, you know, the state of Connecticut wants to protect, and along with, I said, you know, the habitats for the salamander and the turtle. So this has really been a great project to identify this. All right, so if someone wants to make a motion, let's see. Well, we can do two things. We can leave it on as old business, and myself and the land use office and anyone else. Again, it doesn't just have to be me. Anybody else wants to report on this the next week, or we can just take it off and let me deal with it, and Alice.
Aaron, we had a discussion at the last meeting on this, and we were very comfortable with it, but we certainly didn't want to sign off on it until you had signed off on it. Which is why we postponed it at that point. So I would certainly think that if you become comfortable with the letter and there's nothing major changes, you can just go ahead with it.
All right, well then let's do this. Let's just to help me remember to do this. Let's take a motion to continue it, leave it to the next meeting, and let's, you know, on the expectation that between everyone here and myself and Alice and Christine, will get a letter off to the town between now and next week. And if we continue it, it'll be there. And if it's done, and we'll take it off. How does that sound?
Perfect. So moved.
Okay, yep.
All right, so Michael
I'll
made the
second.
motion. I heard Dave second. Any discussion on the motion? All righty, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion carries unanimous. All righty then, so that's going to take us to new business. We've got 44 Obtuse Road South. It's a re-subdivision. I understand there are some individuals here for that application.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, look at this. Look at this. You guys are doing great. You've got a better light than I do.
We tried. I know it can be tough to see sometimes on the camera here.
It can be, yeah. We wish, all of us wish we could be meeting in town hall. That simplifies an enormous amount of the process. So, well, look, I see if there are some applications. I know I have some questions, but let me give you guys a chance just to identify yourself, an address, any address you wish, and maybe just tell us a little bit about what you're trying to accomplish here.
Sure. My name is Logan Sellender. This is my husband, Eric Sellender. We've lived in Brookfield for about 11 years. We're on 13 Apache Drive right now. We purchased 44 Obtuse Road South, and we would like to split it into 2 lots. We plan to build a house, and we'd like to build a house for my parents as well. And that's why we're doing the split, so we can build those 2 houses. And then any questions you have, we're happy to answer.
All right. I had a couple questions, but I don't want to just jump right now. Let me ask Michael, Dave.
I have to admit that I was a little confused by the application, which seemed to say that there was no disturbance of wetlands. And I was wondering why this has come before us. Am I missing something?
Well, usually if there are wetlands on a subdivision, the wetlands reviews it as a jurisdictional ruling.
Okay, so as long as if there's wetlands anywhere on the 2 properties, even
Right.
if they're not being affected.
Yeah.
Okay, they need our permission. Fine. But can I confirm what I read, if you would confirm that, Mrs. Cylinder, that neither of the houses or the driveways will disturb or go through wetlands?
That's correct. The wetlands are contained on the western side of the property. They are largely within the current conservation easement and extend outside of the conservation easement as well. And the 2 proposed houses are on the east side of the property, closer to Obtuse Road South, as well as all septic and well systems. And they're actually also higher up, and all of the drainage systems that are being designed are meant to flow also east, more towards Obtuse Road South. So that would be carried away from the wetlands as well.
Okay, thank you.
And I got a bit of late information from the sanitarian today, Paul Avery, who says that the tests that have been done, deep soil and percolation, were conducted with the health department, and soils are suitable for the kinds of septic system designs depicted on the plan. Further, more detailed Review will be done when plans are formally submitted for construction, but the 2 systems shown in this proposal are feasible for the site and the 3-bedroom home and the 5-bedroom depicted. So Paul is good with it.
All right. Well, this is a question maybe for Alice. I was looking at the application. Do you know why on page 4 of the application there's no data? It doesn't say total acreage. It doesn't say disturbed wetland area.
Are you
Do you
looking
know
at
why
the,
that is blank?
are you looking at
I'm just
the,
looking at the application.
okay, let me see if I can
It
bring
is
that up.
the 44 Obtuse Road South Wetlands application.
All right, let me get there.
Yeah, it would be nice to know what the 2 proposed lot sizes are.
Well, it asks for total acreage. Well, that can be filled in. You can't make a decision till next week or 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, at the earliest. I don't know whether the
Yeah. Isn't it on the plans though? Most of that. or
well,
no?
I don't know. I didn't see it in my 15-minute look of the plans, but I think it should be on the application. So I don't know if that's
Okay.
just a
Does it matter?
process.
It does say that it's a jurisdictional ruling they're going for.
Right, that was on the site data, if that's what you're talking about, on this part. It says
Yes.
it's for short and long forms, and since we're doing jurisdictional, that's why that information wasn't filled out.
That's what I thought.
Okay, so that's fine, I think, but we're going to want,
Okay.
at least I would like to have on the application, disturbed wetland area equals whatever that number is,
Do you want me
and
to share some of that now?
well, I think, Alice, help me out. What's the easiest way, considering the pandemic, for this information to get filled in?
We can go over it right now if you want, and I can put it into the application.
All right, I'm happy for that. So total
Yeah,
acreage,
that's fine.
square footage is what?
It's 22 acres.
Okay.
Oh, it's a substantial parcel.
All right, then what else do, let me get down there.
So now we have total disturbed wetlands and total wetlands on that property.
And that would be 0.
Right, 0.
So 0 disturbed. Do we know what the total wetlands are on the property?
Oh, let's see. Let me get to it and I can do a quick measurement on the GIS.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. There are 2 areas. So one is approximately still measuring.
Yeah, that's okay. But for some reason, these plans are taking a huge amount of time to download here on my system.
Okay, so I have 2.16 acres, and then there's the little pond on the side.
Why is this doing this?
So I've got 2.16 and 0.49 for a total of 2.65 acres.
So 2.65 acres of wetlands, which include, I'm having a tough time seeing this plan here, but so I'm not of much help. So what is going on with this?
But
Huh.
none of this is going to be disturbed, right?
Right,
Yeah, okay.
just basic information for the
Yeah,
application.
yeah. And you said it's 22 acres altogether?
Altogether, it's 22.7 acres, and then we're looking to split it into one lot that's about 3.5 acres, and the other would be about 19 acres.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Did
and
you ever go to Shakespeare's Garden? It's kind of right across from there.
Is all that land buildable in the scheme of things?
There's a lot of rock.
Okay.
so this application is asking us to approve the 2 footprints provided in this plan.
Yes.
That's my understanding.
Yes.
Yep. That's exactly it. It's more this beyond us. It's more with the Planning Commission.
You said there's a, I'm looking at it. So there's a pond. Oh, maybe I can look at it. Maybe I can look at the plan when I come in on Friday. So,
Also, Sharon, I don't know if you remember, but there was Steve Rutkamp, who owned it previously, had one of the ponds dredged, cleaned up, and he got a permit for that.
I'm sure he did. I don't remember. That I don't remember. I said, okay. So
Is
there's
that
no,
on this map?
The pond,
The old
yes.
dredge? Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I do remember a pond being dredged. But like I said,
There was
this
a lot.
application, I had this application open and now it's,
Could this
all right, so,
dredged pond come back to life?
Yes.
okay. All right, so disturbed linear feet of water course, I assume is 0.
Correct.
Total linear feet of water course is 0. Disturbed,
Linear feet
I
of
don't,
water. Hold on. There's
total.
How does that dredged pond interact with the 2 house footprints? Or is it completely
nowhere near it.
irrelevant?
It's nowhere
Okay.
near it at all.
So it won't be affected 1 iota.
No.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
measuring the linear footage of water courses, and it's
Now, would that be that's just the pond, or is there a stream there?
there's 3 little ponds. One towards Parker Hill.
I wouldn't think a pond is a water. I would maybe say I can help. I don't think of a pond as a water course.
Oh, okay.
I think a water course as a stream or an intermittent water course, stream or a brook or a river or a drainage area.
Okay.
Something that moves. Basically, a pond doesn't move.
Well, I don't know about the movement part, but I think that's what we're
Well,
after.
the water, you know what you're describing, stream, river, whatever, that's moving water.
Yeah, the
And,
pond would be. Yeah, the pond would
stationary.
be in the wetlands. The pond area would be wetlands, is the way I would think about it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that
So
would
now-
be 0.
Okay, so that's 0. Okay, so now we've got disturbed area 0, total wetlands is, I can't remember what the number is,
2.65 acres.
5 acres. Disturbed upland review area,
0.
disturbed upland review area is 0. The slope of the upland review area greater than 5%. I think you guys said there was a hill in there someplace, but
Yeah, there's some gentle hills back there. I don't know if there's anything greater than 5%.
let me ask the applicant, can you guys weigh in on that? You know the property, is there anything there? It's got
There
grade, particularly near the wetlands?
As I say, there's a couple smaller spots that have a slope a little bit greater than 5%, but by the wetlands, there are a couple rock outcroppings that are within the
Okay.
conservation easement.
Yeah, so I guess maybe, and again, apologize for not doing this portion, but by review area.
Don't even worry about it. It's a lot harder these days, so please don't even worry about it.
Well, so all the work, both of the lots, they're, greater than 200 feet away from any of the wetlands. So that's why, in reading some of these guidelines, it seems that really the jurisdictional ruling is to say, it's far enough away, or we're not doing any unregulated or sorry, any regulated activity, within the region of the wetlands. So
Yeah, well, I think that's what we just came to, and it says disturbed
Okay.
upland review area is
Yeah.
now 0. That's, for me, that's a very important number. You're not, and there's no huge slopes. There doesn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary here that would say that that this lot should be considered in a slightly different way than most other lots are. It doesn't have a big, huge hill, and you're not disturbing any wetlands, and you're not even in the upland review area. So. And I assume this is not floodplain designation. I assume is no.
Right, towards the rear, towards Parker Hill, it's the X zone. So the chance is 1 in 500 years, I believe.
So
And the rest has
floodplain-
0 designation where they're
Okay,
working. There's nothing.
all right. So there is a small portion that's in the 500-year floodplain, but
Yeah.
so the answer would be,
They don't even count the X zone really as part of the floodplain. And that's what
No.
that is.
okay. All right. Well, again, my current thinking on this is, and just as I think Dave and Michael and Alice were saying, I sort of agree with you. There's really nothing here for us to provide any judgment, except to say from a jurisdictional ruling, there is nothing here for us to make any decisions on.
I can completely agree. So should
Okay.
we vote on it now, or should we vote on it at the next meeting?
Do we still have to wait the 2 weeks? I think.
I don't think so. Not in a jurisdictional ruling.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't think so.
I don't think
Okay.
so. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I said it's the I mean, again, you just have to, we don't want to rush into anything, Michael, to your point, right? Because again, we have to be very mindful that our circumstances here, being remote, and I'm having a tough time loading this plan for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We don't want to rush
Yep,
anything, but I can't, with no
There
disturbance.
doesn't seem to be anything here that is of concern.
Dave, hang on 1 second, one at a time. I'll let you go in a second. There's no disturbed wetlands. There's nothing going on in the upland review area. This seems to me that there's nothing tricky here. So I think it is a jurisdictional ruling. So Dave, I just wanted to finish. So let me turn it over to you.
No, that's okay. I didn't see anything of concern. I think the question is whether we want to vote on it now or wait till the next meeting.
Well, again, I think if there's nothing for us really to make a decision on, I think we can make a jurisdictional decision.
Okay, I'm good with that then.
I'd be very comfortable with that. That was my thought when I first studied the plans.
Yeah.
There's no point dragging our feet on this.
Well, I don't know if it's a matter of, first off, I don't think we drag our feet.
Right. No, but I mean, we've reviewed it, and
at least I can't think of anything where we've dragged our feet. I think it's a matter of we want to try and follow the rules and try and follow the procedure. And I believe here the state law for new business, where there is a decision for the Wetlands Commission to make, then it is, the state does ask us to wait the 2 weeks, but here it's jurisdictional. So there's really nothing for us to do. So I think we are following we're following the law. We have the time. I think we have all the information. I think we can make a jurisdictional ruling tonight.
But so they're looking for an approval from us, and in which case I would make a motion that we, in the matter of 44 Obtuse Road South, project number W-20-42, based on plans, and this is going to take me a moment to get back to the plans. I have them here in a second. I'm going to read it. Did these plans?
I mean, the plans dated by CCA dated October 30th, 2020.
Thank you. I was having a hard time finding that and reading it on the screen.
Yeah.
But yes, what the plans, as Sharon just mentioned, I would move to, based on that drawing, and that we approve it with all the usual stipulations.
I
to be
don't
effective.
think so. I don't think so.
We don't need it to do that way?
No, because there's no stipulations. We're
There
not
are none.
approving it.
Okay.
There's nothing.
So
Yeah,
I
so
would
I think
approve the
it's just a matter,
jurisdictional
like I said, just, we can approve a jurisdictional ruling
Okay.
for
Yeah.
this property, again, making note, you
Mhm.
know, that there are no disturbed wetlands and there is no activity in the upland review area. So this, you know, qualifies as a jurisdictional review, that there is no wetland activity there to be regulated.
So we really
It's a little complicated.
need a motion to that effect?
How about
Yes.
something like that? Yeah. So let's second it and then we'll talk about it. So,
Okay.
Second,
Dave, you want to second that?
yes.
Okay, thank you. So I don't know, how did we do, Alice? Michael made a
It's an
motion.
unusual situation, folks.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that made a motion
Give
that,
me
you know,
a
in
few moments.
consideration, yeah, made a motion that in consideration, there are no disturbed wetlands, there is no activity in the upland review area, that this application, you know, is you know, that there are no regulated activities for the wetlands, for the Wetlands Commission to consider.
Sounds good.
How's that?
So,
And David,
so move.
Dave seconded it. I hate that
Yeah.
word. Seconded it. All right. So how about we call the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. So the motion carries unanimous. All right. So the Sullenders, you guys are all set. Good luck with planning.
Yep,
Great.
good luck. Good luck with the
I'm sorry.
property also.
Thank you.
Have a good
All right.
night.
Alrighty there. Yeah, those are tricky, these jurisdictional rules. Like, okay. Because it's labeled a jurisdictional, but I don't think the word fits into the motion. They're pretty tricky. All right, we do not have any. I don't have any tabled items, correspondence. Review of the previous minutes.
I didn't see a problem.
I was comfortable with the minutes. I'd be happy to make a motion to approve.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael, please.
Approve the minutes of the October 26, 2020 remote meeting as submitted.
I'll second.
Thank you, Dave. Any discussion on the motion? Oh, Allison has joined us. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, let me call the motion then. All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Any opposed? And I will abstain because I was not there and
I
I
have
did
to
not.
abstain
Right.
also. I wasn't here last time either. John, I wasn't there last time either. I'm abstaining.
Oh, it has you there, John, as
He
present.
You know, I couldn't get
Yeah, he
in.
was
I had
there.
trouble getting in.
You know, I had a question about that because I didn't think John was there, but what do I know?
No, I
Well, if
wasn't
John
there.
doesn't think he was there, then he probably wasn't.
I didn't think, John, I didn't
couldn't
think
get
you
into
were
the meeting.
there.
I had trouble. I couldn't get in.
Yeah,
I
he had
thought there were
trouble.
only 3 people at the meeting.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Okay,
All
then I
right, well, then-
modify my motion
I
to
abstained.
accept the minutes with the removal of John's name from the people there.
Okay. And Dave, do you
I'll
second that?
second. Yep.
All right, well said. So a part of that is Michael withdrew his previous motion. Now we have another motion that identifies that that Dr. John Donovan was not at the meeting. All right, so John, you can abstain. I think we can still approve the minutes, you know, even with 2 abstentions. So let me call the motion. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I have 2 ayes. I do not any any noes, and I have 2 abstentions. So motion carries 2-0 to 2.
You know, I had wondered about that, but I didn't know if John was there or not. And when nobody else said anything, you know, I just let it go.
I sort of
Alrighty.
remembered, but one meeting runs into the other.
one meeting doesn't turn into the other.
Well,
I know we don't
you know
see
what's
each
odd
other,
about
so-
the last meeting? I worked at the polls last week, and they had poll training, and it sort of conflicted with this. And I asked the registrar of voters, both of them, if I
That's
could
right.
leave a little bit early to attend the meeting, and it turned out I provided the quorum.
I do remember that.
All right. All right, so let's see. So on to informal discussion.
I have a couple of
Did
things.
anybody see weren't there some minutes? Weren't there like some first selectman minutes?
Yeah, there were a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. I'll start with the good news first. And the PFAS or PFAS in the water supply that I've been talking about for almost a year. And we spoke about it a little bit last meeting. Mark actually asked me to put in writing what my concerns were, and maybe we could send a letter to somebody who had some power. Well, I did a little more research, and it turns out the state is ahead of us. The Department of Environmental Protection has produced a PFAS action plan, which includes basically everything that I was suggesting, such as minimizing or eliminating any future release to the environment of these chemicals, clean up historical releases, regulate them much more significantly than they are now. I would suggest that any of you who are at all interested, just Google Connecticut PFAS action plan, and it'll come up on Google the first or second. It's an 80-some page document that I found very satisfying.
Oh, well, wonderful. Another reason to live in the great state of Connecticut.
Exactly. But when I was doing the research at the end of last year, that information really wasn't that readily available, and I didn't see it until I just looked again this week.
All right. Well, that is very exciting. So did it infer that there was anything that Wetlands would do or zoning, or was the state going
Well,
to
they're
be the executor on that?
hopeful. What's that?
Or was the state going to be the sort of the executor of that, or?
That appears to be the case, but much of it at this point is not, here is how we're going to regulate it, but we are going to write some regulations and I didn't see in the document, but I did not read the entire 80-some pages, where it said local boards would handle the regulation or would have to take this into consideration in their actions. So I'm assuming that there are going to be regulations coming out, and they will more involve checking wells when they're drilled. I'm not sure that it would involve wetlands regulations as much as the type of thing that the health department would be looking at.
Okay.
And,
well, that is good news.
You know, I was pleased to see that. Now the other issue, unless somebody else has a question on this, it wasn't exactly minutes of a meeting, but every week the town puts out something called Brookfield Spotlight, where the first selectman and each department, I'm assuming the department heads, inform the public as to what they've done over the past week or two. And there was a new school update there, and it was just a sentence there that bothered me a little bit. I don't think it really got the sense of what we were trying to do. And I'll read it to you. It says that the state formally approved the grant for the new school construction project, was awarded over $16.7 million. In addition, the Inland Wetlands Commission voted to grant conditional project approval with the condition that Tecton add approximately 4,000 square feet of new wetlands on site or on an adjoining property to replace 1,190 square feet of low-quality wetlands that will be disrupted by the project. Well, I'm not so sure that any wetlands that we regulate are low quality. Wetlands are wetlands and we need to protect them. And my other objection was that there were more than 1,190 square feet disrupted. There were 1,190 square feet removed, destroyed.
Destroyed.
Well, I
Destroyed.
think
That was
must
my
have-
concern, and I didn't know if maybe we could write a polite letter to the first selectman or to the school saying, or we should just let it go. But I just wanted to pass it along to you to tell you how I
Yeah,
felt.
that must have come out of the school board because I certainly didn't write that.
Well, do we want to write a little note? Do we want to write a little note to the school board saying that no wetlands is low quality and the
Well, I think
destruction?
I'm.
Or
I
should
just
we
want-
leave it alone?
for me, anyways, I just want to thank Michael for noticing this. I said I have been
Mm-hmm.
flat out at work and I didn't notice that. So I just want to say a big, big, big thank you to Michael for picking up on it. I think it is important that, you know, that the first selectman and the Board of Ed conceive, you know, possibly if they were whatever, you know, are aware, you know, that it is the 1,190 square feet that we were talking about anyways is in their current plan is destroyed, not disturbed. It hardly
Yeah.
seems to be the right term. And
Disrupted
you know,
was the
and
word
the
they
other
used.
option, you know, the other option was to, you know, change the footprint of that building somehow such that, you know, those wetlands could remain
Mm-hmm.
as they are. So I'm thinking
Our
something
approval
along the
did
line.
sort of squeak by too. It was Michael's thinking on this that sort of pushed us over, but it squeaked through. It could have gone the other way easily.
So what we could do, I'm trying to think. The minutes, wasn't there something odd with the minutes that were published on this one? Didn't they miss a feature that for the minutes that sit on the website? I'm trying to remember, Michael, you caught something with the minutes there. They weren't exactly precise for your
I'm
It was the
motion.
plans. It was the plans that were, some of them were dated wrong.
Oh, it was just the
Okay.
dating. Yes. Yes.
Just the
that's right.
date, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so, I mean, I think what we could do is we could just copy the minutes of the, you know, the motion, and frankly, copy the, you know, we could send a hard copy, soft copy. Alice, help me with the easiest way.
Well, I don't think they got that wrong.
But we could put a cover letter on it too, Michael. We could put a cover letter on it that says, we read with great interest your note, and we wanted to just bring to your attention two things. You know, bring to your attention two things. First, 1,190 square feet are gone. They're not disturbed. They're gone. And there was another option for the town to consider in the recreation of wetlands, and that was to change the footprint of the building, which would leave those two wetlands as is.
Well, and I also think we should mention about low quality that isn't really correct.
Well, you and I feel that way. I have to say that I recall that I know the applicant probably described them as low quality. I don't actually recall, thinking out loud for a moment, if
We never had a discussion about quality. It was just about the wetlands themselves.
well, that's what I you know, for me, I said a wetland is a wetland is a wetland is a wetland.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if I was drafting the letter, I probably wouldn't call out the low quality aspect. I don't know what the real value is, but you know, we're making a, you know, I mean, I think long-term, I said the fact that it is a wetland and this project destroys 1,190 square feet. And there was another option. They could change the footprint of the building to protect those wetlands as
Would you
is.
say the quality of the wetlands have gone downhill a little bit because Huckleberry is there, even in its present footprint, or is it just what it is?
Keep talking, Dave. I don't get your question in terms of when to
Well,
when.
when they're talking about low quality, did it become lower quality because of the present footprint and occupation of Huckleberry?
I'd have to go back and read it.
I would say that
just
one.
being there, that's what the point is. If it were just a completely vacant lot with nothing there, would the quality of the wetlands being destroyed, would it have been more significant? That's what the point is.
I don't know
low
how to
quality
answer
to
that.
the fauna.
Say that again, John?
It's not low quality to the fauna.
No, it isn't. Yeah.
I can't remember any time in my service on this commission that for the last couple of years, that we've ever discussed wetlands as being low quality, therefore not as important as other wetlands.
Yeah, I've seen it written, and I am not aware. I've never seen anybody sort of describe the standard, that, identifies low from middle to high, and I don't, in terms of how clean the water is, how many animals live there, count them. And then you have a very quantitative assessment of, I have seen people, write it and maybe infer there is a standard, but I've never had anybody present one.
Well, the only standards we know about are the standards that are used by wetlands professionals who investigate the soil and determine that it's wetland soil, therefore this is a wetland and needs to be.
So it is a wetland, right.
And we also go by state jurisdiction, as we just did a few minutes ago.
Right.
State definition of wetlands. The piece that was written, it's to move the new Huckleberry Hill School along. That's why it was written the way it was written.
Okay.
I just felt, and I don't know if I should say this, but on the record, but I felt that I worked hard to come up with a compromise to allow them to do the school in a way that would provide the least disruption to the wetlands on the property. Somebody said a few moments ago, there's a good chance that it might not have happened if we weren't able to get this condition approved by us.
Michael, that's probably one of the greatest accomplishments since you've been on the Wetlands Commission, believe it or not.
Well, I'm not sure.
Got a lot of them, Dave. Don't worry. He's got a lot of them.
There you go.
He's got a lot of them. Well,
you changed minds, with your proposal.
Well,
we
we've all
were
done
ready to
that.
go the other way.
Yeah, we've all done that at times when you feel strongly about something, or can see two sides of something and find a way to compromise.
Okay.
But it bothered me a little bit, Sharon, that the concept in that sentence is those guys are being silly. They're giving us such a hard time over a little bit of low quality stuff that isn't going to bother anyone.
Yeah, that's right. That is the gist of it. Yep, you're absolutely correct.
And that bothered me a bit. And I put the two things together. They're stating that it's low quality, and that it's we're just disturbing it a little bit.
I think our discussion right now, it's very important that it be on the record and included in our minutes in the future, when this is typed up.
Well, Sharon, do you feel comfortable writing a letter?
Yeah.
Bringing it to us.
Yeah, no, I'll write a cover letter. Say I've got the support of the commission. It'll say something like that. We did, we read with great enthusiasm your report, And we just want to provide 2 points of clarification. First, the motion, the actual motion and the discussion on the motion is included as an attachment. And second, we might like to note that the 1,190 square feet of wetlands that we are thinking about is being destroyed, not disturbed. And second, that we did offer the town another option, which was to change the footprint of the school, which would allow those wetlands to remain as is, like something along those lines.
I still would like to see in the letter something about the fact that it's not low quality wetlands, but I'll leave that up to you. I won't push any harder.
Well, like I said,
I don't know how to say this, and perhaps it shouldn't be said, but perhaps wetlands are created equally.
All right. Well, I'll write something and then I'll bring it to the commission.
Yeah, we'll look at it
in 2 weeks, and we'll take a look at it. How's that?
When you send the letter in, I'd include a copy of our minutes also.
Dave, hang on. We're talking over each other. I'll bring it to the next meeting. I said, great minds can contribute to it. So go ahead, Dave.
Maybe when you send the letter, you'll include a copy of the minutes of this meeting.
Yeah, I think that's useful, and I'll bring the whole letter to the commission in 2 weeks, so everybody can take a look at it, and we can all that just will further, support the one sentence which I will put in here is that the members of the commission feel strongly about this. So.
All right.
Yeah. That's good.
That's good.
Aaron, do you think at some point we're going to ever get to discuss riparian buffers?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, then hopefully things will calm down. We've had a very busy 6 months here.
We have. I'll tell you what, the only thing that keeps sticking in my mind is on your encouragement. I did quite a bit of reading back then when you first mentioned it. And the one thing that jumped out at me is that when you have something like the Still River, it is the best scientific minds are now saying that you should have a buffer of 300 feet to 600 feet, not 200 feet.
Yeah.
God, that's going to be really difficult to get in Brookfield. And there are certainly some cases where people say, but I want my house on the river. I want a view. I don't want 300 feet of trees between me and the river. But what I read was a very strong push for saying the only way you're going to truly protect the rivers are to have significant buffers.
Right.
Just to add one thing that's been going on, through National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, we have gotten a grant to complete plans to create a new riparian buffer behind the Public Works facility. And to clean up some of that area along there. It's just the plans, and then we'll have to go get another grant, to actually do the work. But we've been working in conjunction with Housatonic Valley Association, as well as, working with Public Works. But yeah, we did get awarded the grant for $24,000 a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully that will become a reality.
That is very exciting
the Still
news.
River. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said that's exciting news.
Yeah, it is. It occurs to me that the Still River is an important part of Brookfield, especially near the center. But all of these plans for an improved center, I've never seen any conversation about incorporating the Still River and its beauty into the downtown. Other than the walkway, the greenway.
Initially, there were, when the town was looking at it, there were thoughts of looking at the river rather than towards Federal Road, but all the buildings are already there, and all the infrastructure is kind of facing Federal Road. So
I had a question. The Still River, it goes by Coles and DJ's, right?
Mhm.
So
And
now the Public Works is over to the east of there. Does it wander over that way?
it
Yes.
does, it's very wandery.
Well, it's also it's a very funny waterway because people can forget that it's even there. It's when you
Right.
have a hurricane or something, all of a sudden it rears its ugly head, if you will. But it has just a very funny pattern, and I believe it flows to the north, not to the south.
Correct.
It's a very unusual river.
Correct.
Everybody says that about any river that flows to the north, but there are many of them.
There are many of them, yeah.
Yeah, that's really not that unusual. Alice, do
When
you
you're at
know-
Coles or BJ's, it's easy to forget there's a waterway there.
Alice, rather, do you know if there's still an annual or every 2-year attempt to clean it up, to open up the pathway so you could still canoe from Danbury to Brookfield?
No, there'd been a group, the Still River Alliance that I
Mhm.
was part of, and that there's one person left, I think, that's still doing it.
Yeah, it's a lot of down trees to clear for one person.
Yeah, I have been talking to Housatonic Valley Association about how possibly to get back to doing that again. So hopefully
Because-
we'll come
Where
up with-
does the Still River sort of cross Federal Road? Because I know it goes behind Stu Leonard's, down a little bit. But where does
If
it
you're
sort
thinking
of?
of- Dave, you're thinking of the East Brook and the West Brook that go near Coles, I think. They funnel down to the Still River, which is right near behind 49 Federal Windorama, where that used to be.
Yes.
The Still River's behind there.
Oh, so what's over in the Coles and BJ's parking lot then?
The East Brook and the West Brook.
Hmm.
All
Where do
right.
they flow into? Where do they flow into the Still River?
Near 49 Federal, where Windorama used to be.
Well, it's all covered up, isn't it?
Yep.
Some of it, yeah.
Most of it. Much of it. At least
Well,
down
no,
there.
you wouldn't even know anything was there. It seems like it's
Right.
solid ground.
It goes
lot of
under the road, yeah,
Yeah.
under Federal.
All righty. Any other topics for informal discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. Thank you, Dave. John seconds. Right, John, did I hear your second?
I did, yes.
Okay, excellent. All right. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion to adjourn signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Thank you, everyone. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Alice. That
Oh,
was a fun
thank you.
meeting.
Excellent meeting as always. Thank you. Thanks everybody for participating. See you in 2 weeks.